It's in America's family businesses provide 57% of all the jobs in America, and this is much of what's at stake with the death tax. With the death tax, the IRS definition of the death tax is that it is a tax on your right to transfer your property at your death. And make no bones about it, we're talking about half your stuff. We currently have a 35% federal death tax, and you have a unique 16% Massachusetts death tax, adding up to 51% of a person's estate, what they worked for at the end of their life. And it's time that we tell the legislature here, that we tell Congress back in Washington, D.C., that it's time to kill the death tax. Sitting in the Ways and Means, slapping his head on the forehead, saying, I know, I've got the solution. When mom and dad die, let's take half their stuff. Who thought that that was a good idea? Who thought that that was the American way? The death tax in America is a great barrier for the survival of family businesses and family farms here in America. Folks, is what happens when the government loses sight of the people and becomes preoccupied with feeding itself off of our work.
I'm self-employed. I'm not making any money.
It was John Locke, who was the father of the concept of property rights, who said that if a man can work hard and save and gather and invest, he should be able to give or bequeath whatever he's gathered to whomever he chooses. 400 years before that, when they wrote the Magna Carta, 1/3 of that document was devoted to the preservation of inheritance rights and thereby, of course, indirectly property rights. All of that changed in Western civilization in 1848 when Karl Marx wrote the Communist Manifesto, and he changed the history of the world with a battle that's even alive right here.
That's right.
He had a 10-point plan for the implementation of his worldview, and point number 3 of his worldview was the abolition of all right of inheritance. Karl Marx knew that if you abolish inheritance, 2 things happen. First of all, within 1 generation, the government owns everything, part of his plan. And secondly, you break the link between parents, their children, and their grandchildren, and that was also a part of their plan. What I'm saying is that getting rid of the death tax is more than just fighting for half of your stuff, half of your property. It's about preserving America. It's about the world that our grandchildren are going to grow up in. It is a battle between those of us who believe in property rights and free enterprise in our families versus those who believe in Marxian collectivism. Now, by the way, speaking of, I mentioned the Magna Carta. Did you know the original seal of the Massachusetts Bay Colony was a man who had a flintlock musket in one hand and he had the Magna Carta in the other hand? Can you imagine what a perfect symbol of exactly what we're fighting for right here, right now? Now today in Congress, I'm going to give you some good news. H.R. 1259, the Death Tax Repeal Permanency Act of 2011, has been launched. It was launched last week. It calls for the permanent repeal of the death tax. We now have 119 new members of the House who have physically signed a pledge to kill the death tax. Those pledge signers, by the way, include Speaker John Boehner, who has pledged to shepherd this bill through the House. We will probably see floor action on this bill in June. Keep your eyes on it. Ask your congressman to co-sponsor H.R. 1259, the Death Tax Repeal Permanency Act. The death tax has so many aspects of it. There's so many things that are wrong. It is hurtful. It hits the family when mom and dad have died. It hits the family business when they're struggling to transition. It our taxes that somehow, when our heart stops beating, our property reverts to the government as if somehow they had the original claim to it? Folks, it is time to kill the death tax. In fact, in the 237-year-old spirit of the Tea Party here in Boston, let me close with this one comment. No taxation without respiration.
So you won't drink so much, they tax cigarettes, you'll smoke so much. Here's my deal, President Obama. You arranged me to not die. I promise to not die. You want to punish me by taking my tax. They can work that out. I'll be happy to have it, absolutely. I also want to say to all the folks over here who came to see today's rally, I apologize that our friends in the government union sector will not let you see the rally. Now, when I'm on stage, it's not a problem because there's not much to see. But we got some nice looking people coming up here later. And so thank you for the live-filled, insulting sign to keep us from being able to have our event here in the public space. Thank you for rating that very high and insulting everyone around you. Appreciate it. Now, something you rarely hear. A guy from one radio station saying something nice about a guy from another radio station. But, you know, this issue is so important. The Tea Party is so important. Fighting together is so important that I'm proud to welcome to the stage my colleague from WRKO, the lovely and talented Todd Feinberg.
I say nice things about Michael Graham every day. I listen every day. He does a good job. I heard there were some union guys coming today. Has anyone seen them yet? I just want to say, I got nothing against union workers. I love union workers. We are all Americans. It's just the unions that have the damn problem. There are union people here today, and there are people who came who are not being paid.
That's right.
Volunteer protesters. And the volunteer protesters are here because they're concerned about the well-being of the country. Union guys are here because they're concerned about the well-being of their own paychecks, which is understandable. It's understandable. There's a little shift that has to go on, a little power shift, where there's not a partnership between the Democratic Party and the public employee unions. It's just a little shift. Everybody will be fine after that takes place.
Yeah, that's right.
Warm and nice to the union guys who are here because they're Americans.
They know not what they do.
Michael, be nice to them. Don't complain about their sign. It's a beautiful purple sign. Is it? So I just want to make one point clear today because what we radio talk hosts have the privilege of doing your own reading, contemplating, and talking about what's going on in our country. It's hard to fully understand what's going on in our country. I think the only differences we have with those who are of a different political philosophy is that those people don't understand or are interested. We study harder, we read more, we understand better. Very intelligent people come to very stupid conclusions because they don't have the facts available to them. So what we find out, what we learn as we study, is that our country has absolutely been kidnapped. It is a runaway freight train of those who are sitting around skimming off the money that is supposed to be taking care of this country, and they're taking care of themselves. There's no way to overestimate how much we're getting screwed by those who are in power. Those who are in power are taking care of their own power. We have this problem as human beings. We automatically project ourselves and we think they're behaving like well-meaning human beings. They don't care about them. They don't care about the people they represent. I was listening to Rand Paul yesterday. He made this beautiful speech about the condition of the country and the budget bill. And he made the most beautiful points about how he can't find out what the Pentagon budget is. He can't do an audit of it. He can't get a full audit of the Fed, the assembled. And I was listening to it, and I understood. This is the first time I've ever heard it sounds like it's representing you. Most of them get elected and they represent the government. Our guys, when we send them down there, your favorite congressman, Barney Frank, Ed Markey. Their job is to go down there and make sure we're not getting screwed. And they do the opposite. They make sure we don't know what's going on in Washington. They make sure Washington is working against us. They make sure they're taking our money, skipping it off, and giving it to Israel. So they'll show up with Turkey. It's a cabal that's designed to screw America. And the head of it all is Barack Obama. If the guy ever tells us maybe the teleprompter went down in his ad-lib. Because his job every day is to stand up and read the bullshit that's on the teleprompter. And that's why I'm sure you've noticed on Tuesday the bullshit that he's reading off the teleprompter doesn't relate to Monday's bullshit. And they don't even care because they don't think it matters because they don't think we're paying enough attention. So be proud of being in the Tea Party. And every time you hear them lying and demeaning and being hateful about the Tea Party, take that as a compliment. These guys here want to make noise to make sure we can't be heard. They're scared of what we have to say. That's why they have to drown us out.
That's right!
That line works, but you want to use it again. So don't put up with any bullcrap from anybody. Don't underestimate the power of what we're doing.
Not at all.
These several hundred people here today have a huge influence on what's going on in this culture. There is only one party right now taking care of the American people and fighting for the best interests of the American government. That is the Tea Party. Be proud, be strong, be vigilant. And I give you permission every day, after you listen to the Todd Show on WRK, you can flip over and listen to Michael Graham. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.
I can't steal your line, Todd, because Jeff Katz needs it in a few minutes, but I would be. No, I'm kidding. We all love each other. We really, really do. And our friends down here. Now, please welcome. The concept of a balanced budget is terrifying to the people who are relying on us to borrow $30 billion every day and keep the government going. But there are people fighting for a balanced budget. Please welcome John Lombard, Americans for a Balanced Budget Amendment. John, come on up.
In the last 75 years, there's been a dramatic change in our nation's Congress. Our legislators used to say and believe that they represented the interests of all Americans who were working to do what's best for the nation as a whole. Now they say that they represent their constituents, which you and I know is really just a euphemism, bringing home the bacon. And they made no apology for this. A few years back, there was a giant billboard on Route 93 just south of here, claiming that all the constituents get their fair share, and then some. Coleman Young put up a billboard that said, "Vote for Coleman Young because he brought home the bacon." Nobody took these billboards to mean anything other than re-elect me and I'll put cash dollars in your pockets. Yet nobody seemed to care. If those politicians had been billionaires and promised to buy these votes with cash from their own pockets, the universities of Boston would have erupted in outrage. Instead, the schools sat quietly by as politicians picked the pockets of their students, the taxpayers of the future.
I'm trying to listen to that guy. I'm trying to listen to this guy.
Professors of these great universities still don't get it. They can't connect the dots from Greece to Portugal to Spain to Ireland and to the United States. And they won't get it until California goes bankrupt or the Chinese decide that they don't want to lend us any more money, causing the interest of the rate to this year we'll take in $2.2 trillion in taxes and we'll spend $3.7 trillion. We'll take in $2.2 trillion and we'll spend $3.7 trillion.
Because I heard him